guys already know I had Enrique last podcast. That's your boy, right?
Yeah, that's my friend.
Oh man, no, yeah. He mentioned you. That's why I was like, I don't know what to say. Is Zara, right?
It's Ziania, but
Zanya.
yeah, it's easier Z, and I go by Z too.
I don't know how to call you. I'm like, is Z like more of a friendly? Like we're not friends yet, but I'm like, damn, what should I call her? Z.
No, yeah, Z is fine.
Okay.
It's fine, yeah.
So are you 100% Mexican or?
Yes, I am.
How'd you get that name though? I just quick question.
So my dad was a lot into reading, and it's actually Aztec, and he got it from like a book, and he was like, yeah, I'm gonna name my daughter this, and I think my mom was gonna name me like Kayla or something like that. He's like,
Kayla.
no. He's like, Ziania. And she's like, all right, I guess, yeah.
Like we're gonna make it a little bit bougie in the name right there. Like relax, like man.
Yeah.
What part of Mexico are you from?
Durango.
Durango.
Yeah. 100%.
100%. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm 100% Mexican, right?
Okay.
But I'm a no sabo kid. I don't know. Sometimes my slang comes out.
Yeah.
Last time, it's
No, it's fine.
I got cooked on TikTok when I was I said cheating, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was saying about relationships and I said cheatear.
No, it happens.
Supposed to, it's not a word.
Lot. No, you know what? So is biste. I said it, when was it? One time where I was in the kitchen with like my family that's like fully Spanish, and I was like, haz el biste, and they're like, el what? And then I looked it up, and it's like beef steak in Spanish.
That's how you say beef steak?
Yeah, it's just something that we made up with the Spanglish language. So yeah.
Like parquear.
Sí.
Estacionar. I'm like, vamos a parquear para acá. What?
Yeah, estacionar. I'm
Really? I'm like, oh my God. But anyways, no, Z, so I looked through your profile and then also Enrique, he kept me up to date. You also do interviews too around Chicago, ¿verdad?
Yeah. So I've been trying a little bit. I'm still in school, but I try to keep up with the regional música mexicana here in Chicago.
Well,
yeah.
School. How old are you then?
I'm 22.
22.
Yes.
You studying communications, I'm assuming, or?
I'm studying music business and marketing.
Ooh.
Yeah. I'm almost done. I got like a week for graduation.
So,
yeah.
In Yale, Harvard.
Oh, no. UIC.
USC.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
it's cool.
Yeah.
I graduated too, but I always tell people, it's not the grades you make, it's the hands you shake, right? I feel like the school doesn't really matter. It's just the person when you meet them.
Of course.
Presentation, how they speak, articulate, No, but that's awesome. So you're doing music right now, and that's why you're doing interviewing people in Chicago.
Yeah.
I saw you also too sing malachi.
Yeah, I do sing mariachi. Yeah, that's how I started. Well, I started with violin when I was like 8 years old, and I went the classical route. And then I realized that it's a lot of competition in classical music. So I was like, this really isn't for me. I wasn't connecting with it. So I switched to mariachi. And I've been doing that, since like maybe freshman, sophomore year of high school.
Wow.
And then I moved into maybe, you could say, like the professional gigging world. Yeah. So yeah, I'm doing that currently.
What's more complicated though? The mariachi? I want to say it good.
No,
mariachi?
you're good.
Or the regional Mexican music route, like how you see like corridos tumbados and all that. Like what's the difference between those two? Obviously the music, but
yeah, I think they both have their style. Personally, I've never really tried to pick up anything and done corridos or anything like that. For me, mariachi has always been like you have to memorize your part, no matter what. Like it doesn't matter if you literally like don't know your part. Like you have to memorize it, or else like people will clown you, And for regional, I feel like it's also beautiful music, but it has its catch to it, I'm pretty sure. I've never played it, but I do hear it, and my dad's actually, like, he plays a little bit of rock in Espanol.
Wow.
And, yeah, like, I see both catches.
So you have, like, already talent in your family already? Well, your dad, obviously, right?
Yeah, my dad, he plays, he used to play in a band. And now he doesn't do it much. He doesn't when like we leave the house or something because he gets nervous. But yeah.
He coaches you, obviously, so portrayed off of you, right?
You'd be surprised. Actually, no. I was forced into violin because they actually gave me time to be like, you're not going to be outside. Like from school, you have to do something after school to keep yourself busy and off the streets. And I was like, okay. So I chose gymnastics. Wow. I got on that beam and I was like, yeah, no, I can't do heights.
Broke your shoulder or something?
No, I just saw it. I was like, yeah, I can't do this. I'm sorry. So I got off. We walked around the corner and it was a sign that actually said like, musicians here. And it was like a little, I want to say like after school place. It wasn't like anything big, but it was like funded by the government called El Valor in Pilsen. And they actually give you like an instrument that you rent out for like the whole school year. And there, like, you learn all the fundamentals and basics.
So that's how you find your passion right there. Well, the instrument, right?
No, yeah. Well, I actually hated violin for quite a while. Like, I didn't even want to be seen with the case or anything. And I was like, you hold it. Like, I'll walk in front of you, you hold it. But after a while, I kind of learned to like it once I got into mariachi. Because I was like, it's my roots. And it's something that I can just have fun with and play with. It's not always strictly classical music. So, yeah.
See, I understand that when you're younger, you're shy to show what you like to do.
Oh, yeah.
But then you grow up a little bit and you start owning it because you're like, a lot of people don't know how to play the violin, right?
Yeah, no.
They don't know how to sing.
No.
They don't know how to cook, drive.
No, I always say, like, it's easier to learn something than it is for something to be given to you and desperdiciarlo.
No, yeah.
So when people ask me, like, oh, like, I want to learn how to sing, like, yeah, you definitely can. It's like everything, it takes time, but like if you put your effort and your time into it, like it's possible for sure.
So if I wanted to start a singing career right now,
seriously, yeah. If you have the fundamentals, everything, no, you can. Like I believe, no, I believe that everything, like, it takes time, but if you really put like your full effort and you're like, okay, I want to do this, I'm setting out like my goals and what I want to learn. Obviously, you're not gonna be like, yeah, I want to become Beyonce by tomorrow. No, yeah. But obviously, yeah, put your goals. Like, I think anyone can do it with everything, singing, dancing, everything.
I like that mentality. Anything's possible too.
Yeah.
Pero, okay. So being obviously you're a 22-year-old Latina female, right? A Mexican female. How is it difficult to actually make your name in the music world? Because I don't see a lot of soloists or even a grupo de mujeres.
Oh, no, yeah.
In Chicago.
Yeah, we do have a mariachi that is all women in Chicago, Mariachi Sirenas.
Wow.
But, I think overall, because I do work in marketing with a Latin marketing company here in Chicago. But it's a little difficult being a woman, and especially Latina here, because you never really, how do I put it? You got to gain that respect, I think. A lot of people just think it's like, oh, yeah. Like, you're a woman, you can do it. Yeah. And they push you aside. But it's more like, no, I'm going to show you how I can do it and how I'm meant to be here and, like, my seat at the table.
I like that. I like that point of view, too. So, I mean, when you're going into these grupos, then how do you make yourself aware that you're just not another female? You're just right here. You're like, I can do it and I can do it better.
Yeah. Well, I don't have that mentality of like, I haven't seen a lot of interviewees be, females and stuff like that here in Chicago, women. But I definitely make a point for me to have like stand on business, you can say.
Yeah, of course.
So like I have my plot, like when I'm talking to their managers or when I'm talking to them, it's always like in a professional level and keep it like, hey, this is what I do. Like, these are my statistics, my engagement, my reach. Like, everything that I have to show for, I'm going to show you.
Right.
And if you want to pull me out that market and be like, all right, I'm going to take a chance on you, it's because of my work and not because I'm a woman.
I like that. Well, your work shows, right? It proves it. And that's why you're doing the stuff you're doing right now, which is phenomenal. As a singer, but also a marketer, too.
Yeah.
So when you're working with these, you're mostly with grupos, right?
Sí.
Okay. So when you're working with these grupos in Chicago, first of all, there's pros to it anywhere, right? But what are the cons with working with these grupos? Because obviously it's a business and there's fights and peleas, right? You got to be straight up.
No, yeah. I think not on my side que sean cons, but it's mostly that thing of like, oh, if you talk to this person, then you can't talk to us because they're doing this and we're doing that. Yeah.
Like gatekeeping.
Yeah, but it's like, it's more like I'm already like, on a neutral standpoint. Like, I talk to whoever, I'm going to talk to if I see potential in them and I see that growth or that drive within them. Like, I want to know their story,
100%. I mean, I feel like in any business, people gatekeep, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But on top of, from your perception too, it's like you're doing a gig.
Yeah.
You're doing a gig at the end of the day and you're just trying to vibe with them también.
Oh, yeah. And even in the mariachi industry, like being a woman is very difficult. I think a young woman is even more difficult just because there's a standpoint of like the old mariachi heads and the younger mariachi heads. So if you don't know everything from their time, then they might not take you seriously. But it's also beautiful because you get to incorporate like newer things. Like I think I had a gig maybe last year where we played like Mi Bello Angel, you know, like I'm seeing the accordion now pop up in mariachi. So I'm like, there's newer things that we can incorporate while still keeping that cultural, you know, alive. So yeah.
How do you become vocal in that though? Talking to the older people, not even just in mariachi, also talking to like the people doing corridos. Like there's grupos here that's been doing it for like more 5 to 10 years, and then there's new grupos for the last 2 years.
Oh yeah.
How do you intervene that? How do you tell these grupos, hey, do this, or give your opinion?
I mean, it's not really me giving the opinion, but if I were to tell them like, hey, like you gotta stand up for yourself, it's not really standing up for yourself. It's really showing that you're able to do it as well as they are, you know? Obviously not being like, oh, we're in competition, but you know, it's in other words, like you can hang with them. Yeah.
That's true, I guess you can say. Y también well, I feel like just the music in general, I'm just so in touch and fascinated with the Mexican music.
Oh yeah.
Right? For the past year, at least for me, I'm new to it, right? So what is the missing piece then that we're missing? Are we missing festivals? Are we missing branding? Or are we just missing to work together?
Yeah.
Like, well, what is it?
Honestly, I think it's trabajando, unidos. Because right now, obviously, you see that division of just either, like I said, like cultural division of the younger versus the older, or even it's like, oh, you left from our group, like now you're alone, we're not going to support you, or they're not going to support your group. It's that thing of like, I mean, it's not bad to say, pero un mexicano no quiere ver a otro mexicano ganar.
That's fact.
But
no, yeah, it's fact.
It's honestly like you need to learn how to, you know? And the more we work together, like, can you imagine if there was such thing as like a whole privada with every single grupo there? Like, not only the income wise, but, you know, all the fans, all the demographics there, like just enjoying each other and its vibe itself. Like, that's great.
Gonna be great. I feel like we'll be on top. We'll be beating California and Texas like that.
Oh,
without
for sure.
Without a second thought. Do you think it's just the ego, like the pride, or is it just because of actual money? There's two different things, at least in my point of view.
Yeah, no.
Money or pride?
I think it goes with both. It's definitely like, I see it in mariachi as there's a lot of competition between the younger people. And it's more because who's going to get the more gigs, who's going to get the best gigs. And then I see it in grupo wise where they're like, oh, wow, like who's going to be the headliner of this? Who's going to do this? But in general, I think, you know, there shouldn't be that competition of anything, you know, build each other up. So I am.
Friendly competitions, I think it's fair because it makes you push each other more, but also too, like, you know, stabbing someone in the back just so they won't get starting gig, or talking back so they won't get that client.
Oh, it happens.
Oh, I bet. No, 100%. I seen that too, especially too when you said grupos, when the grupos in Chicago start separating, because I've seen a lot of one jump to the other or help another.
Sí.
Do they like, ya no se hablan or qué? when like what happens when those? Because I've only seen one, but like when I start talking to these people, they're like, no, ese güey se fue con este grupo, ese güey ayudó con este grupo. And I'm just like, yo, like, isn't that good? Like, your name's popping up more.
Yeah, no. I feel like, you know, I'd see it as a good way of like, hey, me estás dando más fama o más ayuda, you know, to bring my brand out.
Right.
But at the same time, like, you know, that backstabbing of like, oh, yo me fui acá y yo me voy a ir, but like, I'm not going to tell no one. That's very, very different. So I think, you know, that communication, that's where that comes from. You got to be adults about it and just.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. I don't know. I mean, right now that I'm kind of surprised is that I just saw an hour ago, Miche Fest just got canceled because of the visas.
Yes.
Todos los visas.
Yeah.
Is Sueños going to get canceled también? Or how does that?
I'm not sure how that logistic works. I did see, like, you know, in Mexico right now, like, no se están, like, prohibiendo basically se están prohibiendo los corridos, you know, and all these people are, like, getting hate, but not for their own thing. Like Luis Enriquez, he just had a stadium tour and they ruined. Yeah.
Yeah, what got cooked.
Yeah, all of his stuff got messed up, but it wasn't his fault. But I think, you know, I don't know. It could be a possibility. I hope not. But I think definitely there's better things that await if this happened, you know? They have this under control, I hope.
Well, I know Sueños can't get canceled just because there's a bunch of reggaetoneros,
Sí.
right? But also too, like that would that mean Tito taking out like that's for me the only reason why I want to go to Sueños is because of Tito.
Yeah,
I saw
the
Peso
Velvet
already.
Fly.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
but everyone wants to hear Los Corridos Tomados. So like you take away Micha Fest, Sueños take away like the two big headliners.
Yeah.
What's the point? For me, I'm just what's the point of going?
Yeah. No, I understand. I think it's all the demographics that kind of go for each and every artist, but that Corrido Tumbados is popping off right now. And, you know, uno no puede decir, but if they are canceling, I mean, they gotta say it soon. For sure. I don't think so. I think Tito WP has his spot secured, for sure.
I mean, I know he doesn't care. Like Natal Cano still, Natal Cano doesn't care. Yeah, that boy.
Same reason he went for, I don't know if you've seen a long while ago, him and Pepe Aguilar were actually beefing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And it was just like, obviously it's a marketing standpoint, but at the same time, it's like, it shows you like, they go for what they go for. You know?
Do you think de los grupos de Chicago do the same thing too? Just like how JOP and Jimmy Humilde beefed, and then I mean it's smart.
Yeah, it's strategic.
But are we big enough to do that so that we can blow up more?
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I think it's possible. I think Chicago has a good name on its back, especially for regional música mexicana. Like we have big artists that I go to Texas and I talk with friends and I'm like, they're like, oh yeah, you know, like Vanguardia, you know, Los Cabros, Sisma, and I'm like, yeah, like they're in Chicago, so I think definitely it could benefit them in a way, but I think it's best to just stay neutral.
Neutral?
Yeah.
I mean, a marketing strategy, I feel like that it's beneficial.
Oh, of course.
You got to get hate. If you're not getting really hate, I feel like you're not really doing stuff good.
Yeah. Same thing with, I don't think this was intentional, but like Los de la Homen with the Wendy Ortiz song.
Oh, yeah.
Like, obviously he did it just to do it, but that was a good marketing strategy. Maybe like it wasn't realized, but it gained them like a lot of followers and a lot of like new viewers that maybe wouldn't have been viewed elsewhere.
It's kind of crazy, I mean, because when I was checking when I posted it on my TikTok, there was a lot of positive, but there was a ton of negative, right? And I saw them engaging también, like kind of molestados.
Oh, sí.
Right? So I'm just like, maybe they're just trolling también. Like, I don't personally really know them like that to the point where just like they're just trolling to whatever. But I'm just like, why really care when it's just like you need them to fight? Because that's what's making controversial. Even the people at the top, like they say, yo, you suck.
Yeah, no. I mean, it's marketing. It's all marketing. I don't think, you know, from a business standpoint, from like a musician standpoint, like there's times where I get negative comments like on the post and stuff like that. I think recently someone like posted, I kid you not, like a whole book under my comment section as to why I didn't mention 26th Street and that I'm from the suburbs, and like they were going off, and I was like, you know what? I was like, I was gonna comment back and be like, oh, like I'm this person and like you don't even know, but there's no point in that, you know, like it's another gain for you.
100%. I mean, at the end of the day, you as a content creator, man, I'd rather someone meet the real me and hate me for me and then like me for me than pretend.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, yeah, I always talk about Chicago. I'm from Evanston.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, all right, cool. I'm from Evanston. Like, I don't care.
Then what? Yeah.
You get the negative comments, I put a sad face. I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to disappoint you. This is what you get.
No,
this is me.
Yeah. Of course.
No, 100%. I mean, with the negative comments, you needed to like actually get more engagement.
Of course.
As a content creator and as a musician. So from your point of view then, as an interviewer, what's the toughest challenges interviewing these musicians in Chicago? I can give you my point of view. I don't hold back. If you want me to go first or you want to go first? Just so you could...
Yeah, give me time to think.
Okay. No. So, I mean, my experience from interviewing the musicians in Chicago, at least 80% sí se animan.
Yeah.
The other 20% sí se creen un poco más. You know, low, I do this, I do that. I'm like, okay, fair. I don't want to say fair. I just want to say I've met a good amount of people and I'm really good friends with a good amount of people, but it doesn't give me the right to treat or say no to someone.
Of course.
So for me, I feel like although us Mexicans are very accepting as human beings. I want to say personally,
Yeah.
when there's a certain status, I feel like we forget that we ourselves, our people, are the ones that pushed us up.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so people are not really up there. They just think they're up there. So
Oh, I completely agree.
that's just
100%.
my piece of the musicians of Chicago.
I haven't come across any musicians just yet that are like creídos. But I mean, my biggest challenge always is thinking like, are they gonna be creídos? Are they gonna be like, normal people? Or how are they gonna treat me as an interviewee in front of the camera and when it's done? And I haven't had a bad experience yet. I just filmed an episode maybe not too long ago with Los Petroleros, and they're from Texas.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so they're a norteño grupo, and it was like very on the spot, like of me just doing my thing. And when I got there, like I was a little nervous because they were like very standoffish. But then I was like, oh, hello, soy tal por cual. And they're like, oh, okay, nice to meet you, blah, blah, blah. Like, what's the setup? So I haven't had anything just yet. I do see people here in Chicago que sí se les, they get up there.
100%.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, like I've known people a while, and just from that point of view, it's like, oh, damn, like you gained followers or you gained likes and like cambiaste your view of like what you wanted to do with this originally, And that's my biggest thing. Like, I don't want to ever lose sight of like why I'm doing this or why I started, interviewing. Yeah.
I feel like the best part of you interviewing or having your own thing is that you don't let other people tell you how you're going to do stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
For sure.
I think that's the most phenomenal thing, because you do also street interviews también, or?
Yeah, sometimes it'll be just like, I don't have my camera, I don't have nothing, hacerlo.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what happened with Banda Corona del Rey recently.
Yep.
I actually ran into, who was it? I think 773 Breezy. I don't know if you know about him. He's a photographer, and he was telling me like, no, just go for it. And I was like, I don't have my equipment. I don't have nothing. And I was like, okay, at least I can do is take a picture with, Banda Corona del Rey. And I went up to him and I was like, ¿sabe qué? I was like, ¿me puede dar una entrevista? And he was like, yeah, for sure. And I was like, okay, But it's like a lot of those things, like if you don't set yourself forward, or if you're not like, oh, I don't have this, I don't have that, I don't have my mic, like, no, just do it.
Yep.
Like, you don't know the outcome. The worst thing they could say is no. Worst possible outcome.
You got to fail many times. That's why I'm just like, you got to perform a guys like you. You don't have your mics, whatever, camera, boom, voice memos.
Of course.
What's the worst that can happen? They'll say no. So what?
Yeah.
5 years, like I said, you can be the biggest thing. They might be here, but boom.
Todos bajan.
Yeah, la da vueltas. That's my favorite part, because you don't know where someone's gonna be.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, and people don't forget.
Yeah, exactly.
People don't forget.
Exactly.
Pero, so what do you want to do then with the interviewing? You just want to interview here in Chicago, because you mentioned Texas.
Yeah.
But are you just more focused of connecting Chicago musicians, or?
My overall goal, I began this. It wasn't actually like I'm gonna become an interviewee. It was more the accidente.
Okay.
I started a university Latin American Music Festival at UIC.
Okay.
And I was overseeing everything as an intern. And I was seeing like, okay, all the talent, like they're going to come to the UIC radio or they're going to go to this. Like I needed to make sure everyone had someone to have their like view or their reels up to date for that festival. And it got maybe 2 weeks before the festival. And I seen that no one had Vanguardia. And I was like, okay, let me just call up my cousin. I'll record her doing the interview. And de ahí. And I went to the studio where they were filming at. Thank God, like Alex, their manager, answered me and stuff like that. But I was like, oh, okay. I was waiting for her. And I had I think it was my camera. It was like my first ever camera that I bought. And I went downstairs and I got a call from my cousin. She was like, no, I'm sick. I can't go. And I was like, oh,
wow.
I was like, this is in 2 weeks. Like, what am I going to do? So I literally called up one of my friends and I was like, hey, can you just hold this while I'm trying to talk to the camera? And that's how I started it. But after that, I realized, these people, these musicians and músicos, they are regular people,
100%.
They started the way I started with my violin. And it's it's always going to be about the youth and trying to inspire them and how they can do better in music.
Do you think it's more complicated to sing mariachi music or like to read, to perform?
Yeah.
Or do you think now working with more those musicians in Chicago, it's more complicated for them?
I think, me as a mariachi or mariachera, I always be able to sing in front of a crowd rather than speak in front of a camera.
Really?
Siempre me pongo nerviosa. Siempre.
Really?
Yeah.
Whoa. Really?
Yeah.
For real?
Swear, yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. And I think for musicals, like, it's the same thing. I think, well, I don't know them, but I think they have it a little easier because they're able to connect with their fans a little more and they have a younger audience. So that
peda.
way, yeah.
Pura peda.
Yeah, no, yeah. Like, you go to, like, Herradura, Rancho Guzman, like, Islas, and you see all these people, and, like, they're younger people going to see this. So, they already have that connection. And one, like, I sing to older people, like,
Yeah.
gente va a traer el mariachi to those que van a cantar el Vicente Fernández or, like, Pepe Aguilar and all of them. So I think it's definitely easier for them to be panned in front of a camera than it is for me to be panned in front of a camera.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you think mariachi, it can reach that standpoint and break through to be like #1 Spotify?
Yeah.
Has there been? I'm not familiar. Vicente Fernández, pero
Yeah.
they get in chart #1.
No, I think there's been some charts actually with Majo Aguilar, which
Yeah,
is
you're right. With you're right.
when they all collapsed, and then Becky G just did a song Por el Contrario with Leonardo and Angela Aguilar, and that actually reached top charts.
Oh shoot! Yeah, you're right.
But overall, like, having a mariachi, like, just different ones, like, maybe not Vargas or like Mariachi Sol, but like, I think overall, like, mixing the fusion of mariachi and norteño or mariachi and sirreño, like, definitely, even mariachi itself,
Man.
I think so.
So if you wanted to do Mexican music, like let's just say like those corridos, can you sing? Can
Yeah. There's been gigs where, like, they'll ask me for stuff that Chalino Sanchez, and they're like, "Oh, can you sing this?" And I'm like, "Who's it by?" And they're like, "Yeah, Chalino Sanchez." I'm like, "Okay." Like, you have to pull it out.
Holy
right away.
shoot!
Yeah.
You got to tell one of these grupos to let you be the. You gotta test them out. Yeah, you got to like Vanguardia or Los Cabros. Yo, bro, let me get like 2 songs in. You don't know.
No, I actually was able to perform with Vanguardia for the festival. They actually brought me up on stage and they were like, "Oh, I got el violín." Like, and I was like, "Oh, you're kidding." And they're like, No, for real." I'm like, "Okay." So yeah, I have a little snippet. I haven't posted it.
Like you sang?
Yeah.
You sang?
No, I was playing while they were playing as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, we did, I think, Rinconcito en el Cielo.
Okay.
Yeah. And I was able to, do that.
Why don't you do like a soloist artist one gig? Or you never know. Que si pegas y boom.
No, yeah. I think I've been so busy that, like, dejé de música for a little bit.
Okay.
But I think it's possible. Maybe not me, but maybe in general, like, mariachi fusion with norteño, I think that's a big thing. Yeah.
Okay, so I feel like you're more connected with Vanguardia, right? I'm gonna ask you some good questions. We can cut it out or not, okay? So, like I said, I've interviewed good amount of people, pero never in the niche of Mexican regional music, right?
Yeah.
I know that Vanguardia just got a new vocalista, right? A year now?
Yeah, about a year, yeah.
How's that transition? Just because I don't think I've asked this question to anyone.
Yeah.
How's the transition when, let's just say, someone that's been in the grupo for like 5 years and transition to a new vocalista? Can it be the same? Or from your standpoint, here Vanguardia for many years,
Yeah.
are they still the same or better? It's not throwing hate. I don't think so.
No, not at all. It's something that happened,
Yeah.
I think changing Hector and Jaime, like, obviously it's bound to happen with every single band. You always have the parts of the band where sometimes they don't feel as connected to it as they will, after a long time. Or maybe they were just ready for a new change.
Right.
But overall, like, I think it was a great move to move, like, Jaime into Vanguardia. Like, I don't think it was a bad thing. I think overall, like, if you're able to match with the group and keep it going, like, that's all that matters, It gave him a young sense as well, like that new feeling, I think.
I asked that because when I interviewed Hector, his standpoint is like he just wanted something new. Like he thought he was over it, right?
Yeah.
And that's why from this a business standpoint,
Mm-hmm.
he got to bring fresh blood or someone fresh, right? Well, I don't know how old Jaime is,
Yeah.
so
I'm not sure. I'm not too sure.
20s, at least 20s for
Yeah.
sure.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, now with the grupos now, the only 3 names that are really here in Chicago are Le Mans. I've never seen them perform.
Yeah.
But I know Le Mans, Vanguardia, I've seen them perform, couple gigs with La Reserva, and who's El Malo.
El Malo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are the 3, I guess. Well, he's a soloist, I want to say.
Yeah,
Those are the 3 I think I hear the most.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm missing more that están pegando más mejor, but those are the 3
Mm-hmm.
that I always hear. And los
Los preferidos.
preferidos.
Yes.
They came up just 1 year. That's what Enrique said.
Yeah. They did. They're doing great. They're doing their stuff. They're so young. I actually, well, recently, I'm allowed to say it now, but I was able to film and edit along with my team La Plaza Sueños video.
Okay.
And that recently came out, I believe, last week, 2 weeks ago. I'm not too sure. But I was able to connect more and see like all these performances live. Like I think we had Le Mans, Vagos HP, Vanguardia, and Los Cabros Preferidos. And then the only one that didn't come was like that. But I seen them live, and I honestly like they can draw a crowd. Like we were out in the streets of Pilsen and Gage Park, and like they can draw a crowd.
All right.
sure.
So since you've seen all those, who is the best one?
Oh,
Nah. I want to hear the truth. Who is the best group? I mean, opinion, boys.
yeah.
It's your opinion.
No, yeah.
Who is the one that you would prefer to actually pay and see? You got to
Pay
pick
and
one.
see.
Just one.
Damn.
Un grupo.
Damn.
De Chicago.
Oof. Honestly, I'm not BSing, but I do love every single one of them. You know, they bring cultural, you know. But I think from that day, those 2 days, I'll give you my top 3. How about that?
Top 3. All right, top 3.
I think the people with the most energy for sure were Vagos HP.
Okay.
And like it was like maybe 5 p.m. They had been up since 7.
Wow.
And like we were filming at 7 a.m. to 5 for 2 days straight. And they brought the most energy, and they were just there like they really didn't care who was watching. They were going to perform. And that's what I really liked about them. Like we had a recap afterwards, and I was like, they are great performers, you know? I think musically they're all pretty good. I would say K-Bros. Los K-Bros. Yeah, like they were really good. Everyone was really nice, but overall, like I'm telling you, they were like one of the first group that we shot in the morning. They were there, and they were like, all right, we're ready to work. You know, so having that drive after, I think they had just finished a gig at like 4 a.m, and then they drove there. So I was very impressed by that. And third, I'd probably say Vanguardia. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I think overall, they have like great presence on stage as well. But yeah, I think top Vagos HP from that day, from those
Top
days.
3, right? You can't say.
Top 3, yeah.
Well, it's cool because like they're still going to play in Sueños.
Oh, of course.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's why I wanted to touch that topic because I don't know why Sueños was getting a lot of hate. I honestly didn't think that lineup was that bad.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Oh, me too. I like that.
But I see like a lot of people comment saying, I'm not going to Sueños. What's the point of going there? They bring the same people. I'm like, true. Pero, like I'm not going to lie. It's true. Pero, I don't know. I feel like they bring more people. Shakira. I don't bump Shakira, but hundreds of people would just go just to see her just because they saw her.
I think a lot of people from last year, like, who did they have? I believe they had Gavito, Oscar. Oh, no, Gavito Besos. He was there. Tito, oh no, not Tito. Peso Pluma. They had more regional Mexicano. And I think people wanted to see that more now. And since they kind of brought like Shakira, Don Omar, and they're like, oh, what happened to like all these people? You guys could have brought this, and this. But overall, I like the lineup. I'm not mad at it. I think definitely people were surprised by La Plaza.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
You know, incorporating like Chicago's community and Chicago's artists. Like, I think that was a big one for them.
I think that was a good move.
Yeah.
Marketing, that's a good move because you have to you're putting them on, but also too like you're drawing on another crowd.
Oh
I guess
yeah,
you want to say.
of course. It's all those people that, you
Yeah.
know, go out Friday through Sunday and like they go out to see these artists,
Yeah.
but they're also, I feel like there's a comfort level that you see with these artists and you see them like how far they've made it, you know, for them to be headlining at La Plaza on Saturday, Sunday, like, and you're like, oh, I just seen them in my backyard the other day. Like,
Yep.
it's like, I'm going to continue to support them. So I
Yep.
thought that was a pretty good move, honestly.
I asked it too. Well, now a lot of people are going to go to Sueños now because Micha Fest is canceled,
Sí.
right?
Sí.
Which is unfortunate.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully, you know, there's different things. I know they just had their Texas festival recently.
Mm.
They went to Texas for that. And I mean, from what I seen, like, it looked pretty good. So I'm sure, like, once this resolves, you know, they're back on the road. Maybe.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
You know, hopefully.
Mhm.
I mean, so now we touched topics already with the musicians and your interviewer.
Yes.
And there's a lot of content creators here in Chicago.
Yes.
What are the hiccups
Oof.
with the interviewers here in Chicago? I've never had
Yeah.
the most hiccups I think I've had were not hiccups, pero esos sí son, I want to say, un pocos exclusive.
Yeah.
Mexican interviewers over American
Yeah.
interviewers that I've met.
Yeah. I honestly, I haven't dealt with a lot of like Mexicano interviewers. Like I know them before they were interviewers.
Huh.
And I think overall, like, you know, they're doing their stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think as far as hiccups, algunas veces sí se le sube. Sí se le
Yeah.
sube, you know? Pero I don't take it in a bad way, nor am I like, ay, no me dijo hola hoy. Like, no. It's like, you know what? I take it as maybe you're busy that day or maybe you have a lot going on. Because, like, there's times I'm pretty sure where, like, I literally forget my contacts and I'm like, I don't say hi to one person.
I
But
can't see.
yeah. So I'm like, I'm not gonna let that ruin my day or anything, like, nor my friendships. Honestly, I deal a lot with influencers. It's part of my job. And then we invite them to stuff and stuff like that. I think one of their biggest things is like, primero, like they're all in to go to these events and very excited. Y luego, like you said, like se ponen exclusive afterwards. And it's more like, te voy a cobrar. Or like algunas veces, like we've seen like several where we're like, oh, sí, por favor, vente a so-and-so. And like, we got you this, and this. And like, they, I guess, don't deliver with what they're supposed to, you know? And then we get like ghosted, you know? So it's like, damn, like, no sé si se le subió, no sé si tuvo mal día, pero like, that looks bad, not only on us, but them as well. Yeah.
I mean, when you're trying to get these influencers then for like the company or for a gig or for whatever, hosting an event, are they charging more than just a musician? Or because I feel like una vez sí se lo suben los influencers.
Yeah, you'd be surprised. Well, we deal with like también all types of influencers, not just Latinos.
Yeah, of course.
And there's times donde están pidiendo 1,200 por un video. And
I don't think that's that bad.
yeah, no, that's not bad. But when obviously there's some companies on their negotiation is just based on exchanges.
Ah, okay.
And they see it's like a smaller company and they're like, oh yeah, like I'm still gonna give my prices even though like you hand selected me, which I don't think it's bad because todos tienen que ganar, you know, bills gotta be paid.
No, right,
regardless.
100%.
But I think there's some people that do overcharge, and like obviously, you know, in my field, that you have to go in there and you have to see their statistics, impressions, engagements, and see like past 30 days, let's see how much you did. If you're charging me this, okay, that's fine. But there's some people that just don't meet that criteria to be charging that. Yeah.
What's the craziest number you ever heard? You don't have to say the influencer. If you want to say the influencer's name, say it.
No.
Pero what's the craziest price tag and how many followers? Because actually it's a good perspective to see what people are charging for.
I think maybe, I mean, I myself don't have a lot of followers, you know, so I don't ever want to be like, oh yeah, this is too little or this is too many, you know?
Yeah.
But I think they were charging a package of 7,000 and travel fee, which I think it makes sense if they were coming out of state. But they had around 3K on TikTok.
3K?
Yeah.
But what about other?
It
what's
was
the highest platform?
That was the highest platform.
3K?
Yeah.
7 G's?
Yeah.
What? Are you serious?
No. I'm so serious.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you guys give it to them?
No.
Yeah, of course not. What the heck? 3K? What?
Yeah.
For 7?
No. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. It was surprising, but it was because like their past 2 videos had blown up.
That's
So I'm sure if it was before that, like their price would have been
lower. I mean, from a business standpoint, just for me, first of all, the views, I can get why for a business that you guys going to be like, okay, this is why I'm
Yeah.
going to pay you for this.
Yeah.
Number one thing, at least for me, how I run a business and how I've done, because I've been managers in different firms, is that I need to see consistency.
Of course.
I don't care how you look.
Yeah.
I don't care what you do. I don't care what. If you're posting every single day, why? How long have you been doing it?
Yeah.
What ways? What niche? Right?
Yeah.
It's like when I interview people, I don't have a niche because I can either interview a ghetto rapper or a sophisticated entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Because I'll get to any level, and that's I feel like you have to master the skills of the interviewer.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Your audience has to grow, overall. I think this goes for everyone, like influencers and also interviewers, but also músicos.
Yeah.
Like, you have to be able to hit that audience that you don't think is going to listen to you.
Yep.
If that makes sense.
Sometimes I'd be looking on TikTok and just put Japan words, like,
Yeah.
fucking no, man.
Yeah,
Like, I'm
yeah.
telling you, might just fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Pero, I mean, I don't know. With the influencers, I feel like se ponen un pocos más mamones than los musicians.
Sí.
I don't know why. That's what I've seen more, like the musicians and stuff.
Yeah, I've seen it too. I mean, in general, I think Chicago is a big place to grow. And overall, like, every city has their niche. But when you look at every city, like, if you go to California, you think of, like, your top influencers, which is, like, Santea and, like, who else? Like, all of them,
Yeah.
And then you go to Colorado and you think of, like, Wendy, Evelyn. And then you come to Chicago and you think of, like, the top ones. But at one point or another, I think sometimes, I don't even mean it in a bad way, but everyone needs to go touch grass once in a while.
Yeah.
And I don't even say it to be like, oh, yeah. Like, I have so-and-so like, so I'm going to go and be this way. Like, no, always, like, remember why you started it. If it was just for you, if it was to be a foodie, if it was to go review, I don't know, like a place, like, remember why you started it. I think that's the easiest thing. Yeah.
I don't know. Well, that actually bring up a good point. I mean, my boy Kush Papi, he's from Chicago.
Yeah.
Every time I would go over to his crib and stuff like that, people like ask photos, stuff like that. But he's seriously, when you see him on camera, the same person. When we're just chilling.
Yeah.
Also, when I first met Santea in Miami.
Yeah.
Literally, I just went up to him. Me and my boy Rambo. I don't know if you know Rambo.
No.
Well, he plays La Reserva. My boy Rambo, he's funny as hell. Pero shout out Rambo. Pero I went up to him and I'm just like, yo, bro, like let's chop it up, like straight up. And he was just like, yo, bro. And even after we interviewed, we still talked for another 45 minutes. And then we talked again at the club. We saw Rota Privada over at the Latin Grammys.
See?
Like, they approach you. I don't know. It's because also to you treat them as a normal human. Because to me, I don't care I don't care if you're, the only person I'll fanboy is Messi. That's the only one. I swear.
Yeah.
But I can care less what you have in your bank account.
Yeah.
Or I don't care what you look like or what. I'm just like, well, what type of human are you, man?
Of course. I think that matters overall. Like, if I'm not able to come to you and have, like, a meaningful conversation, or if I'm asking you a simple thing and you're shooing me off, or it could be the simplest thing of, like, not looking at me in the eyes, or, like, turning around while I'm talking to you, like, it matters more than the amount of followers you have.
100%.
For sure.
It's how you treat the people end of the day. And that's what I feel like what Enrique said too, which actually I learned too. He's like, how are you going to treat my homeboy if I bring him? You know me, but what if I bring my friend?
Yeah.
How you going to treat him?
Yeah, no.
That's a different perspective.
A big thing. And I did meet him, and I believe, like, Graciela, she also sings on TikTok, And obviously this is my first time, like, around, like, these, you could say, creators and influencers. So I'm going to act myself. I'm not going to be like, oh, sí, soy tal por cual, tengo tantos followers. No, of course not. Like, I'm like, oh, hey, like, how are you? Like, how's it going? Like, oh, I seen your recent video. Like, cool, I'm never going to be like, porque yo tengo tanto o tú tienes tanto, I'm not going to hang out with you.
Oh, yeah.
Never.
100%. And yeah, I mean, 100%. Hell yeah. I mean, one thing about I love Chicago. I feel like I'm going to die here, right?
Oh, yeah.
Eventually. But I'm moving to Miami.
Oh.
And so when I was looking through condos and stuff like that, I've been in Miami many times the past 2 years.
Yeah.
it's just so fast paced.
Of course.
There's everything everywhere. There people don't sleep. They're just thinking how to become the next thing, how to conquer, and that's just like chispa. Like it engages me.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Totally get it.
but Chicago, for some reason, I just feel like it doesn't have that drive, even though there's a lot of wealthy people.
Yeah, no, I think some people are used to settling
Huh.
and they get comfortable where they're at. I definitely see it. They like enter these corporate jobs, they enter these lives or these, you could say, pay rates where they're comfortable and they're like, see, like por ahorita. And that por ahorita becomes forever. You know, I also see it where like, I love Chicago, but I don't see it as my home, you know, like I want to go to Texas.
Oh,
I want to be able to build like my own record label and stuff like that, you know, branch out. But like you said, it's a chispa de like never stopping, never working. Like that's a drive that you just gotta have.
that's your dream right there, to go to Texas.
Yeah, I do want to go to Texas.
Record label, I heard that too.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. If it's not record label, it's tour management.
Tour
For
management.
sure.
It makes sense. I mean, you graduate this year because you're 22, right?
Yeah, I graduate in 2 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what do you do then? Because then if you're working for a firm, what do you do?
So currently, I like to say I have different hats, but I work on the weekends with mariachi. And then I do my podcast, which is my own thing, afternoons. While I go to school, I'm also working, you know, like as a social media marketer and then influencer outreach specialist.
Okay.
And then on the side, when I do have time, I like to, you know, go and photograph bands, or like they'll hit me up sometimes and be like, hey, can you come shoot this? Or can you take a look at my social media account and just tell me like, what do I need? Like plugging campaigns and ads and stuff like that. So yeah.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. I mean, at least you have like a whole diverse portfolio too. So if you do reach out to like a certain company or a certain state, you have the stats and you have the resume.
Yeah. It's a little difficult. I think con Latinos, at least what I've seen in Chicago, es más que tienes que conocer a alguien. For sure. I've never been the type to be like scared of like applying to somewhere, but then I started seeing a trend of like, wait, I was like, ¿por qué esa persona like entró más fácil que yo? And like, you know, it's not the same requisites, but I was like, conocen a alguien.
Yep.
I was like, you know, that's when I was like, okay. I was like, not only do I have that like drive, but I also have that want of like, show me more. And now I'm able to be like, oh, sí, conozco tal por cual. But I have my stuff to show you, you know? I never wanted to be like, yeah, I just know that person, so get me in there.
What's the scariest part then as being, you want to say like a marketer or like an interviewer? What's the scariest thoughts process that you go through while doing this?
I think scariest, I've begun to overcome it, but que no lo voy a lograr. For sure. I think it's always like, well, what if like people don't like it? What if like, you know, like they say things like horrible things? You know, I've seen videos and, you know, just comments about people where it's like, damn, like, would you really say that to their face?
Right.
But over time, it's like, you know, there's an audience for everything. And I think if you like what you're doing, then sí lo vas a lograr. Yeah.
I like that. I like that, Z. Well, I wanted to keep this nice within an hour and stuff like that. I don't know if you have any questions or something you want.
Let me think. Why did you start interviewing?
I started interviewing because I hit a wall when I was 19. And I feel like a lot of doors started opening, but a lot of doors started closing. So I didn't know what route to touch. And a lot of people were in my ear, do this, do that. But I didn't know what I wanted myself. And I called it in your 20s because everything happens in your 20s, right? So I don't care if you're 30s, 40s, and 50s. Your foundation happened in your 20s. Even if you got pregnant, you became a baby daddy, you lost it all, you gained it all. And seriously.
Oh, yeah. Lessons.
Yeah. And then I'm a psychologist. So, yep. So when I was in school, this is how it started. I was in school. I was in a relationship back then también. And yeah, bro, it was tough. So I just had to rascarle, find it. I didn't know how to edit. I didn't know how to use none of this.
No, yeah.
YouTube University.
Yeah. No, that's what it is. Now it's TikTok University. Pero sí, así se aprende uno. I literally started with pues una cámara, nada. And little by little, I'm like, oh, yeah. Let me get lights. Let me do this. And like now, like my operation is like very different from when I started. But it's never going to be like I'm gonna forget where I started.
100%.
Yeah.
It's the hardest part. It's the hardest part when you start from nothing, you know no one.
Oh yeah.
No one.
Completely. I think that's when you learn the most
Mhm.
because you see not only how the way that people treat you,
Mhm.
but it's also a way to see like ahorita soy nadie, ahorita yo hago por yo misma,
Yep.
and let's see where this takes us.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Can't my favorite phrase is like you can't confuse confidence with cockiness or
Oh.
cockiness with confidence.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. I'm like, a lot of people need that. No, but it's very true because I think, like you said, cuando se te sube, todos bajan.
100%.
Like, I've always heard that from my mom, like, todo lo que sube, baja.
Mhm.
And it's, like, very, very distinct where I see patterns of, like, even with me, like, when I've, like, before all of this, like, it was just with mariachi, and I thought, like, yeah, I'm in the best place of my life right now, and then, boom. But it's just to show you, like, start over. You can keep doing this. You need to do it the right way. Yeah.
I like that phenomenal answer, Z. All right.
Okay.
Well, thank you, Z, for hopping on and chopping it up. That's the last question. I don't wanna rush
Oh,
it.
you're good.
Oh, for you sure?
Yeah.
All right, bet.